You know, I'm a great supporter in the use of virtual assistants to help you with your business. And I'm surprised still, I talk to people who say, I can't afford one. And my reaction is, what? I'll explain why I'm so surprised, coming right up. So why am I so surprised when people say to me, I can't afford a virtual assistant? Look, I've been utilising the services of virtual assistants now for about 10 years, and it amazes me that there are still small business owners, entrepreneurs out there who are not utilising this kind of support. It's phenomenal. And when they turn around and say, I can't afford it, I just don't get that. So let me explain where I'm coming from. Now, if you know me, if you know the channel, you'll know that whilst I fund and support a virtual assistant business in the Philippines called Virtual Done Well. That's basically a not-for-profit, it's a social enterprise effectively. My main business is actually management consulting, and I utilize virtual assistants myself in helping me grow my business. That's how I first came across them 10 years ago. And I found it phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. So let me put things in perspective. Why do I say that you can't afford not to utilize virtual assistants? So it may depend on where you're working. So for example, in the UK and Australia and the US, I understand that there's quite a local industry in providing virtual assistant services, and that's great. And these are generally people who have worked in large corporates, in admin roles and marketing roles, and now they've left that and they're basically contracting and providing their services to a number of small business owners and entrepreneurs. That's great. But to me, that's really not sort of the true essence of virtual assistant support. To me, that's just contracting local staff. And you might be doing it on an hourly basis or so many days a week and that type of thing. And one of the biggest benefits in my mind in having virtual assistant support is the cost. So if you're doing that with local resources, the cost is the same really as having employees in your business. The only reduction in cost is maybe if they're part-time, but you can have part-time employees too. So I don't quite get that. I mean, if I'm missing something there, please do comment below. But to my mind, the real benefit of having virtual assistant support is when you're hiring virtual assistants from overseas in a country with a much lower economy, lower employment cost, and so effectively you can still pay them a good market wage, but in your economy, it's a heck of a lot cheaper. And look, to be honest, it can be about 10% of the cost of local support. That's why I'm a great advocate for it. And it's not about sending jobs overseas. It's about providing jobs to people who need them. They're just in another country. And the flip side is that small business owners, entrepreneurs who maybe can't afford local support can actually get that support to grow their business and then employ more local people. So it's really a win-win. So I'm getting around to the topic, why can't you not afford to have them? There's a very simple exercise I say to people, and they sort of come along and say, oh, look, I'm not sure if I need a virtual assistant or not sure I can justify the cost. And I say to them, get out a bit of paper and jot down the 10 things that you do routinely during the week that take up most of your time. And, when people do that, so it might be, dealing with emails, doing my diary, writing proposals, servicing clients, and just very roughly put down the number of hours a week that you spend on those tasks. Now, look, as a small business owner, we probably do 50 different tasks during the week, but pick 10 that are the most time consuming. And I'll give you a little case study here because I was talking to a friend of mine, Daniel, on Friday. So only a few days ago. And Daniel was saying to me, I think I might get to the point now where I need a virtual assistant, but what? And I said to him, what sort of virtual assistant do you want? And he said, I'm not sure. So we did that little exercise. And I said to him, for example, what's the thing that takes up so much of your time during the week? And he said, writing quotes for customers. And I won't let you in on the sort of business that he does, but Daniel's a really smart businessman. He's great at what he does. He has a huge following. And he turned around to me and he said, customer quotes, it takes me 8 or 10 hours doing those. And I said to him, is that something that you could teach someone how to do? You know, if you had templates. And I said to him, look, I haven't got my dictation machine here, an eraser will do. I said, could you just dictate? This is a quote for Harry Brown in Chatswood. They're doing this thing, almost gave away what he does, and they're going to need this type of support and this type of equipment. Please put a quote together. That's something you could very easily teach a virtual assistant to do. And he's going, oh, yeah, we've got all this library of quotes we could put together, and I could easily dictate, you know, in 5 minutes, the key sort of elements of the quote. So I said, well, there's one thing. Potentially you're getting, you know, 8 hours back every time you have to draft up a quote. So I said to him, well, what's the next time-consuming thing you have to do? He said, you know, customers will call in and book us to support them, and I have to allocate equipment and staff to that, and that's really time consuming because I have to ring around and check, because he has a lot of subcontractors. I have to check out who's available and what equipment's available. I said, a VA can do that very easy with minimal training. So tick, 2 really good tasks. And I said, well, what else takes up a lot of time? He said, oh, just keeping track of all the tasks that I have to do. And he's a little bit like me. He's not a great project manager. He said, you know, making sure that things are getting done on time. And he said, oh, I would love to have a virtual assistant who could use a product like Airtable and help manage me and making sure that I'm keeping up to date and, you know, managing my diary and things like that. So that was another tick. We came up with 5 things that he does every week routinely that could be very easily delegated to a virtual assistant, which will give him, I think conservatively, 2 days back a week. So my question to you is, if you jot down the most time-consuming things that you work on, and in every single case I've done this with people, they come up with at least 2 or 3 days worth of stuff that could easily be delegated, what would you do with that extra 2 or 3 days? So you can see where I'm coming around to this now. What's the value of having an extra 2 days a week? What would you do with that? Some people go to the beach, spend more time with their kids, go to the gym more often. Other people might say, oh, I'd spend a lot more time with clients. Other people might say, oh, I developed this new service or business line that I just haven't been able to get to. That's what I'm getting at when I say that you really can't afford not to have that type of support. So what I'm suggesting here is that if your business is going great and your profits are through the roof, you might prefer to have local support staff. But if you're like most small business owners and startups, you can't afford it. And this is a way of getting more time for you as the business owner to work on your business and not in your business. So absolutely, you know, is it worth the cost of a virtual assistant? 10, 20 times over. I started off with one virtual assistant 10 years ago, and I love the concept so much that I've been adding to my team over the years. So as I mentioned, I run actually 2 management consulting businesses, and Virtual Done Well is I hate to call it, it's not a hobby. It's a very worthwhile enterprise that I pour my heart and soul into, that I love to have, but it's not a business that I'm drawing income from. Let's put it that way. So I have a couple of management consulting businesses, and within Virtual Done Well, I have 7 virtual assistants who support me directly. I have another 3 who support my CFO. And then we have a whole raft of other great talent who support a lot of other small business owners. So I'm a user, doesn't sound the right word, but I'm a business owner who recognizes the value of utilizing virtual assistants, and my team just keeps growing. Why does it keep growing? Because I find more and more for them to do, which gives me more time back. So actually I tend to work less hours now, but also it's allowed me to build more businesses. So when I first started utilizing virtual assistants, I had 2 businesses. I've now got 5 because that extra resource allows me to do that. And the other thing it allows me to do is a heap of stuff that I would just never get to, particularly in marketing. I just love marketing, and my competitors are astounded at what we do in the marketplace with our marketing. And it's because I have a great support team around me. So It allows you to get your time back. It allows you to start growing your business, growing other businesses. And I guess it allows you to punch above your weight. You know what that means? I think it's an Australian term, but it allows you to be and act like a much bigger business, having that kind of support. So that was a bit of a long-winded way maybe of answering that question. But you know, when people say to me, oh, I don't think I can afford a virtual assistant, I say, well, they kind of pay for themselves 10 times over. So anyway, I hope that was of help to you. If you've got different viewpoints, do comment down below. I love to get comments. That helps me understand what you would like to know as a small business owner or entrepreneur about running small businesses, about having great support staff. So I'd love to get your feedback. If you've got any questions, do pop those down below. And you know how it works. We publish videos every week, generally on a Wednesday. In fact, the secret is out. I publish them on a Tuesday evening, Australian Eastern Time. So if there's any topics that you want to hear, let me know. If you hit that subscribe button and the bell, you'll actually get notified every time we have a new video coming out. So thanks for watching. I hope that's a bit of food for thought for you, and I'll see you next week.